So, guys, here we are, Stoomboy, the Combat Companion. So, as always, shows brought to you by Kaizen Fightwear. So, Kaizen Fightwear is obviously a local jits guy here in Scotland, Big Max. Obviously put together a clothing brand, obviously rash guards and so on. So, some absolute funky designs. So, anybody that is looking for some cool stuff, it's perfect for all you jiu-jitsu nerds out there. So, there's a lot of unbelievable designs. So, just head over to Kaizen Fightwear. _co on Instagram, and you've got all the details through there. I say the local Scottish guy, so just giving a little bit back to the community. So we're going to be talking about Cage Warriors 187. So Cage Warriors 187, we're only a couple of weeks away now, so it's going to be at the Braehead Arena in Glasgow, Saturday, 19th of April. So again, the card's obviously been announced. Obviously, they've got fights popping up all the time. A lot of unbelievable talent on it, as always. So we're seeing some new debut guys and obviously some well-established guys on there as well. So it's going to be another amazing night. Anybody looking to go and see any fighters, make sure you hit up the link in the fighters' social medias, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, and so on. And it's also on UFC Fight Pass as well. So make sure you are looking out for that. So one of the guys then that's going to be on the show that night, obviously a favourite of mine. As I said, love seeing this guy out there. I mean, the thing he comes out, he's very, very technical. His grappling's unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? Unbelievable grappler. Got a lot of heart as well. Got a lot of heart, which goes a long way in this game, which is absolutely brilliant to see. And he always comes to put on a show. Do you know what I mean? Always puts on a show from the walkout, the fight itself. And so, I mean, he's very, very well supported. And he's the Housewives' favourite. Do you know what I mean? So, Reece McEwan, the Griphouse. So, Reece, absolute pleasure as always, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words, the introduction there. And yeah, I'm feeling great. Thanks, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Do you know what I mean? I'm absolutely buzzing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening in Scotland at the moment, which is brilliant. A lot of young fighters. A lot of you guys are heading out there and putting on shows all over the world. Do you know what I mean? So it's an amazing time for Scottish combat sports, Reece.
Absolutely. I think like in what you're seeing a lot in Scotland just now is you're seeing a lot of variety, and a lot of amateurs, for instance, are competing down in England. Obviously, when I was coming through, you had like a strong you had a couple of strong Scottish promotions, like your On Top, Art of Combat, Evolution of Combat, etc., etc. And we obviously do still have some Scottish shows, but I think what is amazing is we are seeing like guys at the Griphouse higher level and other gyms like going on and winning titles down south and kind of I don't know, like expanding like the experience already at such a young level, and then you're obviously seeing at a professional level. There's a strong presence in Cage Warriors. There's a strong presence in PFL. There's a strong presence in the UFC. So it's really good for Scottish MMA.
Yeah. I mean, the Cage Warrior show, I mean, we knew it was going to come at some point in Scotland, do you know what I mean, when it came last April, do you know what I mean? And we always talked about this, they were just waiting on the right time, so having the right bunch of fighters, and obviously yourself being one of them, do you know what I mean, which is obviously taking Scottish combat sports to a whole other level, do you know what I mean? So it's very exciting, and we're seeing a lot of debut guys on the show this time as well, Scottish guys, which is always brilliant to see.
Yeah, it's obviously a great opportunity, like for any large promotion to come. Like my memory, although I wasn't really even into MMA at the time, but my memory of knowing the Scottish show that was in the Kelvin Hall with Cage Warriors, where it was like 8 fighters fighting on that show in Cage Warriors Glasgow. I believe, like again, that's kind of like I never lived through that, but I'm making it sound as if it's like the 80s. But like what I'm trying to say is that, like, for a major promotion to come to a country, it's got to be justified. And what I really liked about what Cage Warriors done in Glasgow is they did really embed. They obviously had like maybe their main 5-6 guys that had contracts or that had previously fought in the promotion, but then they started giving guys their debut, started giving even other experienced professionals an opportunity to perform. And I think that's really commendable. Like the changing rooms is basically like full of Scottish fighters, which is phenomenal for a fighter, phenomenal for a gym. Like I know what it's like to come through a gym and then being like, that's a Cage Warriors fighter, I'll watch it alongside him. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, gives a lot of things as well. I mean, obviously, let's say yourself leading the way for, like say, the Griphouse and so on. But I mean, you've got guys coming through, Fraser Patterson. Do you know what I mean? Ellis Pilkington's on an absolute tear at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
So absolutely, that's what I mean. Like as an amateur, you want you want to do so many things. Like Fraser Ellis have done that. They've won belts, they've defended belts. They've had like many lessons. Like they've picked up tough fights. They've picked up like for instance, like Ellis has fought and Fraser. They're racking up fights, and they're almost becoming having the same amount of fights that I've had. Do you know what I mean? Like it's phenomenal to see, and especially like somebody like let's say Ellis, like not that fight, but the fight before I think it was like a 4th or 5th round finish. Like to fight 5 rounds at such an early phase in your career is absolutely phenomenal. So there's a lot of high potential with both of the guys that you mentioned.
Yeah, not just them. I mean, obviously the Griphouse.
Yeah, no, of course. Anytime you single someone out, there's always someone else being like that. I've been there before. I've been like, this guy's got it. Oh, I never got mentioned. But like that's I hate like singling out people, and you hear like coaches. I'm not a coach, but you hear coaches say that all the time because there's always someone you forget. And also, on the same token, you don't want to put too much pressure on anyone. Like you just want to kind of let them do their thing. And like the same token, there's so many guys at the gym that don't compete, and like you don't want to put pressure on them to be like to compete because then they've got this. It's almost like they might be fighting for their first time, and they might be fighting, but they've got this unnecessary pressure going into the fight that they're this talent that could possibly be in the UFC, and they've only had 1 or 2 UFC fights, amateur fights. So, but to back up what you said, like the guys are doing really, really well at the moment, and it's fantastic to see.
Yeah. Gives you some good training partners as well, Reece. Do you know what I mean? So definitely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it's also very motivating for me. Like I go and see, like Fraser's got his belt in the gym, and I think he's got 4 or 5 titles just now, or like Ellis is just off a fresh win, and he took a couple of weeks off and he came back, and it's like if he was told to take time off, like because he trained so hard. But when I see him back, I'm like I'm inspired because maybe it's like 2 weeks, say, and then he's coming in, he's helping us, he's filming rounds for the gym, he's been about the team and stuff. So. It's very inspiring. So inspiration doesn't just come from bottom to the top. The top people, I'm not saying I'm the top person, but I'm just saying I'm more experienced, can be very much influenced by the people around you.
Yeah. That's what Cage Warriors then, because I mean, obviously you've been on the last couple, the Glasgow shows. Do you know what I mean? And I mean the atmosphere. I've talked about the atmosphere. Me and you've spoke about the atmosphere and stuff like that. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, and the good thing I love about the Scottish the fans is they support all the Scottish fighters, regardless of what gym. Do you know what I mean? And I know you bring a massive support, but your support were supporting everybody else as well.
Yeah, no, that is phenomenal. Like the first Glasgow card was obviously electric. It was brilliant. Like when you're visualizing, like you just see like you're standing. So see when you're coming out to fight, like you're basically at the curtain, and this camera's facing with the light, and your opponent's in the cage, and you can just see like literally it's like a sea of people just with their phones and their torches, and you're trying to ignore them, but you're starting to spot familiar faces, and you're like, I've just seen this guy, but I need to pretend he's not there, and like you're like. So it's very good. It's very one. It's very motivating to look back on, and two, in terms of like the atmosphere in the second one. Like I remember somebody made a joke. They're like, you basically done a lap of honour. It took like an hour and a half to get through the venue. Like I think there was like 3 fights after me, and the prize fight, like the George Hardwick's fight and the prize fight. It was like. And Chris Bungard fought after me as well, I believe. So it worked out like those 3 fights. Basically, I was like going around saying thanks to everybody, and that's like it was phenomenal. So yeah, the atmosphere is amazing, and the Scottish fans or support really get behind everyone else. And that's happened in many other cards where people are like, oh, we were sitting next to Chris Bungard's fans, and now they were cheering you on, and we were cheering him on, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah. I've been there because I know that you love to thank everybody after it. Do you know what I mean? Because you are so appreciative of everybody that spends their money to come and watch you travel and all that kind of stuff. So, and we've been waiting to do interviews, and it's always like an hour or so later, Reece turns up.
Yeah, well, it's so funny. I know it sounds silly, but like I remember there was like my 3rd Cage Warriors win, and so I'm walking out, and then people. It's not like a conscious effort of like I'm going to go and make sure I see everyone. It's like you're walking out, and then people are coming to you, and you're like, "Oh, brilliant!" And then one of the the guys for interviews are like that, like, "We're going to get you now, and then you can go back out later, like, because we need that interview before this next fight." And I was like, "But with the last one, like for instance, or even the one before, it was like I know it's going to sound a bit cheesy, but I'm like, I just got to go find my fiance with this shit, and then once we found her, I'm like, right, we're here, let's go see everybody, like." And then obviously people come up to you. I'm like, my last one in particular, she was like, do you want to go get food or something? And I was like, nah, like I'm going to take this in because these last few months were very emotional and very like hard, and I missed this, so I'm just going to take this in, and then we're going to enjoy it all, you know. So
Yeah, yeah. As I know how appreciative you are of people. Do you know what I mean? I know that, and that's the thing. I mean, it takes nothing to go in there and celebrate with your people and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And the interviews come, all the media stuff comes after it. Do you know what I mean? But it's about you. You've just went out there. You put on a performance. You've spent X amount of weeks training in the gym, building up for that moment to go out and fight, and you just want to be there amongst your people. So it's
I think
understandable.
you've got to be so present, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's, you know, to single him out. Actually, I heard an interview with Nico Carrillo, and it was like, I don't know what I feel stronger about. I don't know if I love winning more or I hate losing more. If that makes sense. And it's actually like trigger a thought process. And it's like, I think I hate losing more than I win, because when you win, you're like, right, what's next? And you don't actually ever think of the present moment. You don't actually take a step back, because the competitor in you don't want to appreciate. You don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like, look at me, I'm doing great. Like it's like a fixed mindset. That's when you start getting complacent. That's when complacency does kick in, and that's when that whole thing where people say you sleep on a win and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you lose, you're like, the hunger and desire is on another level. So that night, I just go with what I feel like. And there's been losses. Like my first loss to Leo Scott, I remember looking about, going, I'm going to remember how this has made me feel, and I'm going to be present in this moment. So it's not just like I'm winning, I'm going to just make the most of it or whatever. It's just however I feel. There's been wins where I'm like, nah, I'm fine. Like, I just need to, whatever you feel in life and day to day, just go with the flow, you know.
Yeah. Obviously, a quick one. Tell us about Shore MMA. Obviously, you head down there as well. Obviously, amazing setup. Really good training partners down there for you as well. Very high level guys down there. So tell us about your training down there.
Yeah. I think the best way to describe it is like a home from home. They are a huge reflection of what I feel I've got at the Griphouse in Glasgow just now, with top people and top training partners who want the best for me as a person, best for me as an athlete. Like, if I'm not down, they're checking up on me, or they're always doing whatever they can. And that's like the coaches, the training partners. I'm in direct communication with a lot of them when I'm not. When I'm not down there, and obviously it's hard when you live in a different country as well. So yeah, a gym full of top people and top training partners who work amazing with my team. Like the last fight, or when Richard Shaw was in the corner and he came into corner, it was just like everybody clicked together, like, which is what you want as an athlete, you know. Like, it's one big, in my eyes, it's like one big team, so it's great. Yeah, I can't say. I can't compliment them enough, and also the guys at the Griphouse as well.
Definitely. Awesome two gyms. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, Richard Shaw's an absolute legend, as we know. Do you know what I mean? Dean Riley is obviously a legend as well. Do you know what I mean? The self-proclaimed best dressed man in Scottish combat sports. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah. No. Like, totally. It's when you're an athlete, like, I'm probably going to answer whatever question you might ask me, but like, everybody always says, like, how's training going, or how's the camp going, and I think, like, every fight camp's like so different. You know, like, see, as an athlete, you're always learning, and see, when you speak about a mistake that you made, whether you're watching a footballer or a fighter, you almost think, like, when I hear some other fighters talk, or some other athletes, or some other sports person or business person speak, and you almost think, like, how can they make that mistake? They'll be too good to make that mistake. Like, you hear fighters putting fighters on pedestals, or their training wasn't right, or whatever the mistake may be, from large to small. But everybody's a human being, and you're going to make a mistake. And on that given night, you might not just be your best person at that moment in time. You know, there's many training sessions where you're like, there's definitely going to be training sessions where people, I just didn't feel like it tonight. Like, something wasn't clicking, or that training partner, or on the flip side, I felt insane tonight, you know. But the reason why I'm saying that is because, in terms of, like, you're talking about a team, and, like, my coaches, my training partners are doing their job, and as an athlete, that's all you can ask for. So when you go into the fight, it does give you confidence, because your preparation has been phenomenal. Not just been, before it used to be, I've done everything I could, but now, well, this is probably, but I just mean it's more highlighted now. They are doing everything they can. And whatever happens on the 19th of April, we're always coming to win. We're always coming to apply our game plan. But the reason why you're so confident, I'm so confident, and I'm so ready, is because the team behind me and what they're doing behind the scenes, which nobody will see. They won't see the sessions, they won't see the strategy, the game plan, the positional sparring, the rounds that we're doing, the specific training, the conversations we're having. Which is, I'm sure my opponent's doing that and other gyms are doing that. But all I'm saying as an athlete, you can't ask for much more, and that's why I say 19th of April is on me to do what I need to do.
Definitely. So there we go, guys. Reece McEwan. I mean, Reece is one of the guys. I mean, as he's not just inside the cage or inside the gym, outside as well. He's an absolute great person. Do you know what I mean? Really, really nice person. Great role model for a lot of upcoming fighters as well. Do you know what I mean? Because Reece has been in the game for a long time. Do you know what I mean? And he's fought at a high level, even coming through his amateur career right up into the pro career and so on. Obviously, does a lot of grappling, amazing grappling. So he's a fantastic role model for a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to see Reece hanging out of clubs at 3 a.m. Do you know what I mean? So you're not going to see all that.
You might. I'm just sitting thanking everybody for coming out. No, I appreciate that.
But definitely amazing guy, and as you've got a lot of amazing people. Reece, anybody you want to shout out to?
No, obviously, like again, like this. I'm very. You talk about being appreciative and stuff. Like, I do think expressing gratitude, no matter what. I'm not going to tell people how to live their life, but there's, and also if I go back to like saying I had a tough time and like last year and whatever, everybody in life has, and not to make this like a I don't know, a speech or whatever, but I think mental health is so, like, your mental health is so important. Like, everybody wants to go to the gym and get fit and improve their physical health, but like improving your mind and making sure your mind is in a strong head, like strong space, I think is extremely important. Because and for me, like, expressing gratitude every day, like I've got a gratitude journal. I try and reflect on positive feelings. If my feelings aren't, like, not to say positive, but I'll write a lot of things down. I speak a lot of my emotions out. I sometimes overshare, I overspill, but I think it's so important to keep on top of your mental health. And in terms of like thanking people, I'm maybe living a life that I dreamed of like maybe 11 years ago, and I don't mean that by like achievements. I just mean like I'm living the life of a professional athlete, and I'm professionally chasing like a dream, a goal, like whether that's Cage Warriors, UFC, what any promotion. Like, I treat it as if I'm going to fight for my first amateur title. Do you know what I mean? Like, where I just quit my job and I'm training to do this. And I know it's quite of a deep thought, but I just want to thank everybody that's really involved in my life, because I'm surrounded by great people in the gym, out the gym. I've got amazing businesses that sponsor me, which make my life happen, like, possible. The gym's incredible with me. Like, so, and like you wanting to interview me, speaking to me, saying kind words, I don't know, just very, very grateful for a lot of things in my life right now, and especially when your mind's starting to get very, very focused and very selfish. This is like a phase where you can actually feel yourself becoming very selfish, like, because you're like, I've got a goal in mind 2 weeks tomorrow, and everything that I'm doing right now is all focused towards that. There's no normality in my life. It's all obsession. It's about getting the win. It's about beating whoever's in front of me in 2 weeks. So, to thank everybody really that's contributed to this training camp and that's helping my family, friends, fiance, sponsors, teammates, yourself for interviewing me. No,
I appreciate that, mate. This is the easy part. I do this, man. I love seeing you guys. I'm hugely supportive of Scottish combat fighters, regardless if it's MMA, jiu-jitsu, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, very, very supportive. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes a bit too supportive. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, as people know, but do you know what I mean? As I love seeing you guys out there, win or lose. Do you know what I mean? I'm still behind you. Do you know what I mean? I've seen you guys at your highest of heights, and I've seen you at your lowest of lows. Do you know what I mean? And,
do you know, like, see, like, again, quoting like Roy Keane said, sport is just a career of disappointments, and if you're in it long enough, there's a few highs. And that's so true. Like, sport and athleticism, and I'm sure this is the same as businesses. There's a lot of people that fly under the radar. Like, just because you touched on like being maybe too supportive for like certain athletes and stuff, like, but like I'm sure as the athlete, like, you probably, they'll remember that way more than they would remember like the people that want to just, you lose a fight or you lose an exchange or you make a decision that doesn't benefit them, and then all of a sudden you're public enemy number one. And sport can be so, like, not brittle's not the word, fickle. Like, 1 minute you're the man, and then 2 minutes later, everybody's kind of forgot about you. And it's not about that as the athlete, but it certainly helps when you've got positive people around you that, I always say it, they don't care about what you're doing in your athletic career. They just want to know how you are as a human being.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, guys, there we go then. Reece McEwan, Griphouse. He's going to be heading to Cage Warriors Glasgow, Braehead Arena, 19th of April. Now, make sure you do get tickets for this. The shows are always amazing. If you are going to see Reece, hit up the link in Reece's social medias for tickets, and definitely get along, support the fighters. It's on UFC Fight Pass as well, so if you can't make the event in the evening, make sure you are watching it. There's nothing like a Cage Warriors Glasgow show, do you know what I mean? So the atmosphere is better than any other Cage Warrior show you go to, for sure. So, but again, I'm biased. I'm very biased.
No bias, just fact.
So, but Reece, listen, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. I know you're busy. I know obviously you're coming at a busy part of the training camp, but listen, I appreciate the time as always, brother.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you, mate.
All right, take it easy, buddy. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.